All right, what's going on, Mortgage Coach community? This is Dan Keller. I am filling in today for our friend Dave Savage, and I'm not filling in. Jeremy Forcier and I are filling in. What's up, Jeremy?
What's happening, Dan? How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm good because I'm on a call with you, man. It's like old times. About a year ago, you were coaching me.
Feelings mutual, bro. Feelings mutual.
Yeah, I love it. Well, here's the thing. We're going to cut straight to the chase because you've got to get out to a meeting at 9:30. So we're going to jump right in. One of the things that Dave Savage asked both you and I to address last week in his absence was a hot topic right now, and that is realtors. And you added a twist to it today that I absolutely love the angle that I think we should take this call. But what I really wanted to do is I think we need to paint the picture this way, that you don't just show up and make a call and go to a meeting and close a realtor on sending you business. There's a formula. And so what we wanted to do today is share with you the formula for building winning realtor relationships. It's something that I'm just going to be perfectly transparent with you. I learned it from you, Jeremy. When it comes to working with real estate professionals and bringing a ton of value, I first started learning from you back in 2013, 2014. And I've had the honor and privilege over the last few years to be coached in a coaching organization that you're a part of. And I had you a year ago as a coach, and you operate at this level, but getting to coach with you one-on-one on this really took it to the next level and really dialed in some of the things that I thought I was doing pretty good. And you've helped me do them really, really great. So I wanted to share that with the mortgage coach community today. So what I wanted to do real quickly before we start is kind of give you, there's kind of an anatomy, or like I said, a formula for going after real estate agents. You taught me this, and it has nothing to do with just showing up and winging it. There's got to be structure around it. So the first thing that I think you have to do as a mortgage professional is you have to have standards. You don't just call a realtor out of the blue, right? Talk to me, Jeremy, real quickly about if you got a name of a real estate professional, or if you had to make a list of real estate professionals, how would that look? Like, what's your criteria for qualifying them?
Sure, man. So to your point, and I say this all the time, but if you know me at all, I always say the same things over and over again. And then I add things because that's what works, right? So what Dan is talking about is the science part. Because remember, there's art and science to everything, right? There's the art of the way that you do things, but there's the science or the facts, protocols, etc. The workflow that you follow is the science part that he's talking about right now. So for me, I do it two different ways. So when I have targeted, so you guys can write this down if you want, I have targeted and non-targeted workflows. Okay, so targeted, which is what Dan is talking about or referencing here, would be people in the market that are doing over 12 buyer sides in my market. Okay, that would be like a targeted approach. People that are doing either over 12 buyer sides or over 24 total transactions. Okay, that in my market, you guys, I know this is going to sound weird, that is a big hitter. Okay, so we don't have very many people. There's only 23 agents in my whole county that do over 20 transactions a year.
Wow.
Okay, so let that sink in for a second. So you have to know what you're going after. So if I'm doing a targeted campaign, it's for people that have the ability to refer me the business. Okay, so that's it. It's that simple. Okay, non-targeted. All right, so this is where I'm going to get a little contradictive, which I love, and I'm open to debate it with anyone.
Yep.
Okay? That's my targeted approach. Non-targeted approach, I will meet with anyone without looking at their numbers. If I like them, they have a good attitude, and I am interested in meeting them as a person. Okay, so it almost doesn't even matter that they're a realtor or not, right? If I like them, I'm interested in them, they're positive, they have good energy, that's my non-targeted. That would be like me meeting someone at a chamber of commerce or a listing agent on the other side of one of my deals that I'm doing that I had super positive interaction with. Okay, so that's targeted, non-targeted for me. That's exactly how I go about it. And I think it's really important, okay, to do both. So when you go just non-targeted, which is what most people do, they're lying to themselves, Dan. They
Yeah.
actually are targeting small, weak people on purpose because they're insecure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to be very clear about that. My non-target is totally different. It just meets those 3 criteria.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm sitting over here smiling because a year ago, that was me.
Right.
I was calling in my marketplace up here in Seattle, I was calling the realtors that were doing less than 10, that I could easily get a phone call with, that may have already heard me speak or may have known me, and it was an easy call. Versus today, I'm calling more of the targeted list. There's an approach, there's a strategy, and that's kind of what I wanted to transition into right now. So I think it's important to understand that if you are going after real estate professionals, you follow a formula. So the formula, I guess we would say part of the equation, A, is initial contact. All right. Yes. So the first part of it is initial contact. Part of making initial contact is what you just talked about, the list. The other thing that you have to have kind of a mindset, and this is what you've really helped me with, is being crystal clear on my mindset that I'm bringing value to the relationship, that I have all the right in the world to be calling a 100 unit a year producing realtor because we're helping 200 plus families a year. I'm bringing value to real estate agents. So it's a mindset thing. First of all, you're going to have a qualified list, or in your case, maybe some non-qualified people on there, but you're going to have a list. The second thing I like to do is a pre-call stock. All right. I like to pull them up on Facebook. I learned this from Chris Smith, the founder of Curator, a good friend of mine. And he talks about having a pre-call stock, getting some intel on the person. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a sales call. One of the things that you taught me too is there's 3 reasons to make a sales call. As a mortgage professional to a real estate professional, there's only 3 reasons. 1 is to check in. 2 is to invite them to an event. And 3 is to schedule a one-on-one meeting with them. So I think when you go into step 1, make an initial contact, and you have that mindset and you know what you're going into the call for, it makes making those calls a lot easier.
That is correct. 100%. Yeah, you should be writing down. So my hack always has been, before I start making my prospecting calls, even if I'm going to call 3 people, okay? So let's make it easy to digest. I think sometimes you guys think that I'm a robot and I sit around and I just dial like 40 people at a time. Life doesn't typically work that way for me.
Yeah.
It is always great when I can knock it out in a super time blocked way, which I do, but it doesn't always happen that way, right? I'm calling people every single day. It's not like just Mondays I'm calling people, or just Fridays, or just Tuesdays. So what I always do is simply write down purpose of my call on a piece of paper. Looks just like this. Here's one from yesterday. Okay.
Okay.
Purpose of my call equals, and I write down 3 different things. Okay. And I'll give you an example. Here's what I wrote down for yesterday. Purpose of my call is to talk about a new investor program that we have called a DSR program, debt service program. Okay. So that was one that I wrote down. Okay. Second one that I wrote down was to invite them to a lunch and learn that I am hosting in the 3rd week of February. Okay, third thing that I wrote down is to set an appointment to go over our fast track pre-approval process. So what Dan just said is I'm calling for one of 3 things, right? To get an appointment, ask for a referral, or to invite them to something. That encompasses all 3 of those things. But you only pick one. Here's the biggest mistake I make, even when I watch people that work for me. So I sit in sometimes on loan officers' calls. And this happened. I will leave this person unnamed if they are on here. I love you, and this is all in love, and you are unnamed. Okay. So I was sitting with this person, and I was listening to a call, and so I'm giving away a 50-50, right? he said, hey, it's so-and-so, from Cross Country Mortgage. Hey, we'd love to get together with you. And then I couldn't hear what the other person said. But then when he went on to his close, right, he said, well, let me know if you need any just listed, just sold co-branding postcards. We're having this event on this date. And if you have anyone this weekend that might be looking for something, we'd love to help. He gave he did them all.
Yeah.
Right? He did all 3. And that's too much information.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to pick one.
Okay.
Right. Per call.
Love it. I think that's important. Part two of this equation is you are the master of, Jeremy. I think Dave will probably confirm this, but your interview with Dave on the top 5 realtor questions when you actually get the appointment is probably his most viewed episode coaching call on YouTube. We were going to go into that today, but you kind of pushed the pause button prior to the call with me saying you can watch that video. So let's not waste your valuable time. You have something right now that you're coaching on, you're personally doing. You taught me it this morning. Do you want to elaborate on that? So we're going to put a pause on step 2, which is the realtor meeting, and kind of go into what you were talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to rewind this just a little bit, right? And so, by the way, if you guys haven't watched the video on the 5 questions, you can search it in MC Community, YouTube, etc. I highly recommend you watch it. I'm happy to still give you the 5 things. I have them right here. Yep. It's in a Word document. That's not a problem. And we can get to that. But something I'm really passionate about right now is dormant relationships. So I want you all to think about for a second relationships that you've had. So let's say specifically realtors right now. Okay. And this is an exercise that I was put through, and then I've been doing it, and now I'm teaching it. Okay. So I want you to think about realtor relationships that are dormant. So when I say the word dormant, Dan, what do you think of?
Asleep, kind of put on the side, not relevant right now.
Cool. So that that's accurate. But here I'm going to define it for you in mortgage context. Okay. So for me, a dormant relationship is someone I have not closed a loan with in 6 months or greater, or I have not received a lead from a referral in the last 90 days. This is the science part. Remember, art and science, guys. Okay. So I defined it that way. So here's what was disgusting. I went back and just off the top of my head, I'm talking brain dump. Okay. Like I didn't go research in my database.
Yeah.
I wrote down names of 39 realtors without researching. Wow. And I was like, yeah, man, I haven't worked with them in 1 year, 4 years,
wow,
7 years, blah, 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 blah. Right. People that I'm friends with on Facebook, all that stuff. But we literally used to work together, haven't worked together for a very extended period of time, and it gave me a stomachache. All right. So there are reasons that relationships go dormant. And I will tell you that probably 90% of the time it is our fault.
Yep.
Okay. Because if you're going to be in a relationship with anyone, you have to pursue that person. So I'll give you a great example. If I ignored my wife for 6 months and didn't talk to her and didn't give her words of affirmation and didn't do anything at home, like nothing, like I just went home, went to bed, got up, went to work, went home, went to bed, don't help with the kids, whatever.
Yeah.
I guarantee you she'd probably divorce me. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same in business, man.
Yeah.
It's so simple that it's stupid. And I love it when I get irritated at myself because I know I'm going to have a big breakthrough. Okay. So I highly encourage everyone to make a list of people that you worked with at one point in time. It doesn't matter if you closed 1 deal with them or if you closed 400 deals with them, okay, over your career. If they're dormant, and it's our fault because we're not connecting, okay? And I think that we get so caught up all the time on new prospecting. Guilty, by the way. Guilty is charged right here.
Yeah.
Okay? That I neglect the people that I do like, that have sent me business, that I would like to continue being in a relationship with, and it's not right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not right. So I highly encourage everyone to make a list of anyone you could think of that you haven't got a referral from in the last 3 months. Some of you guys might have a giant list, by the way. It's okay. That makes this easier, okay? Or that you haven't closed a deal with in the last 6 months, okay? Now, when someone is dormant, it's usually one of 6 reasons, okay? One of 6 reasons. I'm going to give them to you here. Okay, the first one is bad experience. They had a bad experience, okay? Now, when someone has a bad experience, remember, it's their perspective, right? It doesn't matter if the person lied to you, the client lied to you, or whatever it may be, right? Like, they had a bad experience. It didn't close on time. Borrower was upset, whatever it may be. Okay, had a bad experience working with you. All right. The second one is they met someone else. Okay, let's talk about this one for a second. This is just a fact, you guys. Everyone that you are trying to meet and prospect already knows someone else. It's all stealing in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we're not married to any of these people. They are all on the open market, like Tinder for real estate, open to anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So people meet other people. That's how we build our business, right? So we have to be very clear that no relationship is ever untouchable. No relationship is ever safe. And sometimes things just have seasons, and seasons pass.
Yep.
Okay. Number 3, they don't see value. Okay. They don't see the value in you working with them. So here's the deal. For me, I define value with real estate agents as this. If I'm not making them more money, if I'm not saving them time, okay, and if I'm not responsible for their follow-up with their clients on their behalf, I do not have value. Okay, I do not have value. Number 4 is I put difficult to work with the team. Okay, so when I define team, that could be a loan officer assistant that you have. That could be a processor, even that they've never talked to. That could be an underwriter and they were just super upset with like the way that the transaction went, because we all have team, even if we are a team of 1 LO. Okay, there's always other people that are involved in the process. All right, so difficult to work with the team. Number 5 is poor communication and follow-up. Poor communication and follow-up. Okay. Number 6 is, and this is the one that I missed completely when I first did this, is that they just don't have the business to refer you guys. Okay. So that's why I said it's 90% us. Sometimes, dude, people get slow. People don't have the business. They're not doing well. They're struggling. Okay. So those are the 6 reasons why. Well, let's go through some quick tactics in each one to how you can deal with it. Okay. By the way, I love this. I've been sharing this with the LOs that work for me. Here's what's funny. And I love you LOs if you're on here. They take this and they go to my relationships and then they do this exercise. It's hilarious. Okay. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right. Because guess what? If I'm not doing it and they got it, I'm not upset.
Yep.
Can't be, right? It's a hypocrite.
Yep.
So I did get some feedback that was hilarious from a couple of my realtors, and I was like, dang, man, my people are good. They're on it. Like, they're going back after their old relationships, you know? So this stuff works is my point, all right? So let's talk about tactics. I'm going to talk, and then I will go into what it sounds like when you make these dormant calls.
Love it.
Side note real quick before I go through the tactics. Dormant isn't just with realtors, you guys. You could have dormant financial planner relationships. You can have dormant past client relationships. Hello. If you're not doing annual review calls, emails, that stuff, you're not marketing to your database, you're not calling them every year, they're dormant. They just are. But we're going to keep the context of this about realtors for the purpose of the call, but please know you can use this for anything.
Yep.
All right. So let's talk about tactics here real quick, you guys. Okay. Number 1, there was bad experience. Okay. So here's the tactic. We want to train our team on identifying when an agent has had or is having a bad experience so that we can jump in early and prevent them from becoming dormant. Okay. The ones that did stop using us for this reason, we have to get a face-to-face appointment with them. We have to apologize and we have to ask for another chance. Okay. Super simple. So I'm going to give you an example. A big shift that I have made in my business. I'm more involved in my business, by the way, than I've ever been, ever. And I think we all should be. Like, I'm not deferring to the processor who's making a call to someone like to be good enough anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm more involved, which is why I'm working crazy than ever. But I will tell you that my conversion is way up. Shocker, right? My leads and conversion are up because I'm fully engaged in my business again.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Here's what it would look like. So last week, I have a loan by the name of Wilson. Okay. It's a very complicated loan, 15% down jumbo. They're getting a gift so they can make up the reserve requirement, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Qualified, great from an income, but everything else is tricky about it. And it's very detailed oriented. So I got a voicemail from the borrower saying, hey man, I'm really frustrated, right? And then I got a message from Brittany, okay, on my team, who is the processor on the file, who said, hey, I talked to Travis. I walked him through everything and explained it. He's totally cool. All right. Old Jeremy would have said, awesome job, Brittany. Thank you so much. And I would have done nothing.
Yeah.
It was solved. New Jeremy said, awesome, Brittany. Thank you so much. Great job. And then I called Travis.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the point I'm making of identifying. Have people identify for you if you can't pick up on it, that there's something wrong. If there's any inkling of any frustration, of any misunderstanding, of anything, you pick up that damn phone and make the call.
Yeah.
Super, super important. So I did. And guess what? He felt great. At the end of the call, he's like, no, Brittany explained it. Sorry, I was really frustrated. And my script was very simple. Listen, I am 100% here to help you, even if it's already solved. I want to make sure that you are not frustrated through the process. So simple, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, after I hung up with Travis, I didn't stop there. Old Jeremy wouldn't have made that call. Newer Jeremy would have made that call, and then that would have been it. Jeremy, right now, today, it's weird talking about yourself in the third person. Right now, today, hung up the phone with Travis, and I called the agent. Hey, Ken, it's Jeremy. Just got off the phone with Travis. I don't even know if you know that he was a little frustrated about something, but he totally understands the dynamics of it. We worked it out, and he feels great. If you hear any inkling of any frustration ever, please give me a call or shoot me a text. You guys get that?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's bad experience. Okay. Number 2 is met someone else. So you guys know how this works, right? People meet someone else because they have the stated income program and blah, 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 blah. The shiny object that gets someone interested. They get me internet leads every month. I could go on and on and on and on, right? And they go, oh, I'm going to give them a shot, right? I'm going to give him or her a shot. So if they met someone else, the tactic is calling them again and meeting up with them, because just because they met someone else doesn't mean that they're not working with you anymore. It just means that they're working with multiple people, which they all do, just so you know. Everyone does. It's true. It's a fact. Okay. So tactic is call them again, set up a face-to-face appointment. And in that appointment, okay, what you want to do is set your next appointment. So I'll give you an example, even if it's just biannually. Hey, Dan, dude, great getting caught up. I would love to just schedule, just so we make sure that we don't go dormant again. Let's get our next appointment on the books. It doesn't matter if it's in 3 months, 4 months, or 6 months out. That way we know that we're going to meet again face to face so that we can continue this relationship. I'm sure we're going to talk a bunch in between, but I always want to make sure that I'm staying in good relationship with you, okay? So super simple tactic there, right? If you do have a lead that you can send them and you know that they've been using someone else and not you, that's a really easy way to re-engage as well. I know that we can't always do that. It's not our primary job, but if you can, it's a very easy way to get someone re-engaged, okay? All right, number 3 was don't see the value. Here's what I see in this as a problem in our industry, is that our marketing message might not be value-based, like what we actually do. So this is kind of an old school thought. So remember, I told you, if I'm not saving them time, making them more money, right? Or not being their follow-up system, I consider that unvaluable, okay, if I'm not doing those things. So this tactic is pretty darn simple, all right? You want to make sure that your marketing messaging is in alignment with whatever your value proposition is. So here is an example. Old school, by the way, old school alert. Sending them a video and or a flyer on a loan program that you guys can do. It's so dumb. I got away from doing that for years and I went more like motivation, like style. And then I started doing my lunch and learns around like, hey, this new first-time homebuyer program with the Chinoa second. And everyone's like, oh, that's awesome, right? And I was like, what the hell have I been doing for the last 2 years? Right? So remember, that helps them make more money, loan programs, okay? Number 2 would be an example, if I'm going to save them time, right, is teaching them my follow-up system, right? My follow-up system. on how we follow up with all their leads on their behalf and have co-branded drip campaigns if they're non-responsive. That's an example. So our marketing messaging has to be value-based, okay? So start doing that. Start making sure that your messaging is the same as your values, all right? It's very, very, very important. Sending out letters of evidence of success emails, right? Like, hey, we got, you know, this person just gave us a testimonial. Send out a copy of the testimonial. Simple, simple, simple stuff, okay? Number 4 was difficult to work with the team. I love this one. So I did this, by the way. So just before I go into the next 3, when I was calling these dormant agents, I'm going to bounce around here for a second. I got 7 appointments, okay, out of 29 calls that I made. Wow. And I met, when I say 7 appointments, I've met with all of them. I have them all listed right here, okay? And what was amazing to me, all right, what was amazing to me is that I brought them into my office, okay, my office, and I started them out with a quick tour of the facility. This is the processor. This is what the processor does. Hey, Ruby, meet John. You know, right? Because if they thought it was difficult to work for the team, what do I have to edify?
The team.
The team. What they do for you, like how it works. Like it can't be just me meeting with them, telling them how great everything is.
Yeah.
And you put humans in front of them, right?
Aim to the face. Yeah.
So I just do a quick 5-minute little walk around, introduce them to a few people. The receptionist introduces herself or himself. Megan on my team is a her, and explains what she does. And that, can you get any water? Jeremy's just going to be a minute. How's business? I script them as well to talk to the agent before they meet with me. Yeah. Okay. So doing a little site visit is good. Number 5 is poor communication and follow-up. You have to make sure that each lead has a closing email phone call with you. Therefore, the agent knows it's back in their court. So when you're following up, here's how it goes. I followed up with someone 7 times and they still have not been responsive. Hey, Dan, it's Jeremy Forcier. I just shot you an email as well. Dave Savage that you referred over has been 100% non-responsive still. We are going to put them on a drip campaign, but I think it'd be great if you re-engaged with them and then CC'd me on it and kick it back to my court. So you're putting it back in their court. What people hate is when it just goes into the ether and they don't know what's going on, okay? This specifically is very important with people that don't qualify, you guys, okay? So I'd say that that was a big part of my negative feedback over the years is like, oh, the person felt that you didn't care. You did the loan app and then they weren't qualified and an email went out saying, hey, we got to get, you know, it's a nice email, but still the person felt defeated and then they were mad at me. So here's new Jeremy, okay? This just happened last week. Someone wasn't qualified, wanted down payment assistance, 55% DTI on the program that they need. They need 43. They also need a 640 score and she's at a 562, okay? No way in hell anyone's gonna be able to do the loan, right? So old Jeremy would have just emailed out, hey, here's what we need to do. Here's the path to success. Here's my credit person that I work with. Please connect with him, et cetera, et cetera. New Jeremy sent the email and I got on the phone with her. Hey, I want to make sure A, you got my email, and B, let's talk through it because I want to get you on a path to success. I spent 15 minutes with that person and she felt so great by the end of the call because I kept reassuring her that I want to help you do this. There's some work that you have to do though. I want to help you do this. If we get you this loan right now, you will lose your house in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't want you to lose the house that you buy. And she was unbelievably grateful.
Yeah.
Okay? Simple, you guys. Yeah. Contact, communication, update the realtor. Another tip, at the end of that call, this person's name was Danny. I said, hey, Danny, are you 100% clear? Do you feel okay? She goes, yes, I understand. I said, could you do me a big favor? Could you give Allie, the realtor, a call and just let her know that you're 100% good and that we had a great conversation? She said, absolutely. Do those things, you guys. Do those things. Take your losses and turn them into wins. Okay.
So good, Jeremy. So good, man.
Last but not least is don't have the business. Okay. So this dawned on me when I met with my #1 referral source, who's been my #1 referral source for the last 5 years. And we didn't do any business together hardly at all last year. We did 4 transactions and he had a great year. And I meet with him every Wednesday already as it is, right? We talk about life, family, like all that stuff. And we were about 6 months in and it dawned on me that like, dude, we're just not doing anything. Like, what the hell is going on? Did he meet someone else? I go through all those same fears in my head, right? And so I just asked him, I said, so how's business? He's like, killing it. I got 9 escrows going right now, right? We have 0 together.
Yeah.
And I just had to ask him, hey man, are you working with someone else? Like, because we don't have anything going. And he said, no, man. Like, I said, can we go through your escrows? He wrote them all down. We went through them. Probate, divorce, not buying, moving outside of California. I could go on and on, right? Investor cashing out, all cash purchase. One, he did have the ability to refer, but they were so tied in with someone that it was inappropriate for him to make them talk to me.
Yeah.
So that made me realize he just don't have the business right now.
Wow.
Right? So it's important for us to know that. It's important for someone else that I work with by the name of JM. I won't use full names here. I called last week on the dormant agent call and he said, hey man, I gotta be honest, man, I'm struggling. I haven't closed a deal since the last one with you. You guys, that was 5 months ago.
Wow.
Right? So it's important that we know that part as well. And when you do find that they don't have the business, you have to make a choice. It's okay to cut them off from your follow-up process if they just have nothing going on.
Yeah.
And you stay in touch with them still on email or whatever. You don't want to spend a bunch of personal time in that because it's a waste for work purposes.
Yeah.
But if they are hungry and they really want to turn this thing around, you have to make a choice. Do I want to invest in this person right now and teach them lead gen tactics and get them on the right path? Okay. So that's the dormant agent strategy, you guys. I'll leave you with this. Here's what the phone call sounds like. And by the way, I'm going to hop off this, but I'm going to call in. I'll still be on the call. I will just be driving to my appointment. Okay.
Sounds good. No, it's great.
So here's what the call sounds like. Ready? I'm going to call you, Dan.
Okay.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Dan Keller.
What's up?
You know who this is?
I think this is Jeremy.
This is Jeremy Forcier. How the hell are you, buddy?
No, I'm good, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Hey, I'm glad that you picked up. I didn't think you would. The purpose of my call is that I have found that I have a lot of dormant relationships, and your name came to mind, that we're not working together. We're not even in contact or relationship anymore, and it is 100% my fault.
Sorry, man. I'm stepping out of role and I'm taking notes.
No, it's all good. So,
yeah.
but that's it. That's the gist of it, right?
Okay.
So if I'm leaving a voicemail, because I got mostly voicemails for the people that I called when I did this exercise, it's the same thing. Hey, Dan, it's Jeremy Forcier, cross country. How the hell are you, man? Hey, we haven't talked in a long time, and it's because I've identified that we're in a dormant relationship, and it's 100% my fault. I'm really committed this year to reconnecting with people that I like and that I want to do life with.
So good.
Give me a call or text back. I'd love to meet up. We don't even have to talk about business. I just like to see how things are going for you.
So good.
Okay. That's my script, you guys.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, I got 7 appointments. I got multiple callbacks in text on top of that, but I got 7 appointments in 2 days from doing those calls. It works. So yes, we prospect new people. Yes, we can look at like, how do we get the appointment, stuff like that, which we went over. Yeah. I will tell you, there is a treasure chest full of relationships that we've forgotten or neglected, and you should all start there right now.
Love it. This is so relevant, man. Super, super powerful. I think I was on a podcast last week and I was talking about the loan officer of the past where it was turn and burn, leave it up to your team to follow up. That's going to be going by the wayside as the markets become more competitive. And I had no idea that the new Jeremy was in town. So I love it, man. I love the new Jeremy. I learned a ton. I took a ton of notes. You got to get out of here. So go hit the road, man.
I'm going to call in, carry on. I'm here to help. I can answer stuff. So thanks for letting me share all that stuff, Dan.
Oh, man, you're incredible. Love you, brother. Thank you. Wow. That was pretty amazing. So what I wanted to do is hold on real quick while Jeremy gets dialed in. I know there's some questions here, and I want to make sure we answer some of the questions as well. Okay, so the link, you guys, the link that Jeremy was talking about with the 5 questions, I will put the link to that interview in the comments. So that will be in there for you guys. Mike, did we lose okay, no, volume was good on our end. Hopefully Marcy got that squared away. Can we replay this right now? And Jeremy's response is yes, this call will be recorded. And the letter, what was the sent out letter? Let's look at
So
this.
that's evidence of success. It's just a testimonial.
Evidence of success. Okay, we'll also post a couple of examples down there. That's anytime you have a success, like you help someone with poor credit, you fix their credit, it's evidence of success. Or if you did an 8-day close where a bank or a credit union couldn't do it, and the realtor said, hey, I want you to talk to Dan for a second opinion, and you were able to close it in 10 days, that's an evidence of success. So I think, guys, I think that's it. So what I wanted to do, I want to move on to, so Dave really wanted us to talk about how to convert more realtor relationships in 2019. So let me review kind of where we started and where we're at. Okay, so the first is initial contact. We create a qualified list, or in Jeremy's case, he will also have a non-targeted list, but a qualified list, you make them A, B, or C. Hey, Marcy, can we mute Jeremy? Or maybe I can. There we go. Thank you. Thanks, Marcy. So initial contact, we have a qualified list. The second thing is a pre-call stock. The third thing is you make the call. Now, one of the things that I've learned is anytime, and Jeremy kind of touched on this, I always have 1 or 2 events on my calendar every single month so that depending on how the call goes, I can always by default invite them to an event. So one of the ways when I'm making cold calls or I've never done a deal with this particular real estate professional, sometimes asking for coffee because every lender is calling them in town right now. What I like to do is just be brutally transparent with them and just say, hey, I'd like to invite you out. I'm having my CPA come out this month and he's going to share 101 ways where you may be able to identify some deductions in your business as a real estate professional. It's going to be power packed. Would love to have you out, and it's an opportunity for us to meet. I've always wanted to meet you. You're a big player in town. You have a great reputation. So if you're free next Thursday at 1 o'clock, I'd love to send you an invite. So having an event on the calendar is big. The second step is that first realtor meeting. I'm not going to go into detail on that. The link is down below. I think it's like an 8-minute or 10-minute video interview Dave had with Jeremy. Jeremy talks about the 5 questions. I will tell you this, Jeremy's over $100 million a year producer. He runs not only a branch, but he also runs a region in California. It works for him. I literally have copied that. I learned it about 2 years ago. I've copied it. I use it 95% of the way of everything. I've kind of made it my own, but the 5 questions, they work. And the link to that video interview will be down below. So that's the second step. The third is follow-up. And that's kind of where, if you talk with Jeremy or if you talk to any producer, I know there's a cliched statement in our industry that the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's the truth. The follow-up is key. I can tell you that every new real estate professional that I work with, very few of the good ones will send me a lead on the spot, even though that is part of the close. When you sit down and you meet with a new realtor, one of the ways that we can find out if we're a good fit is to start doing some business together so that you can see how we refer through our wow process, how we're able to refer you business. Oftentimes, they don't just roll over and send you a lead the next day, so you have to follow up. This is where I link it back to the pre-call stock. You have to invest into these people. So one of the top realtors that I work with right now is a huge Seattle Seahawks fan, huge. He's also a big baseball fan. And so in order to get kind of in the door with him, I sent him, this is about 4 years ago, I sent him a baseball signed by Derek Jeter, who is one of his favorite athletes. I've sent him a football. I've sent other agents a football. And so it's a way to get their attention. And then from there, you're in the door and you have the ability to show them that you care, that it's more than just a deal here and there. So I think it's really important from a follow-up standpoint that you follow up with intent. You follow up, an advanced version of follow-up. And what I'm doing right now is I am running Facebook ads. I want to be in front of real estate professionals that come to my lunch and learn. I want to be in front of real estate professionals that I'm cold calling. And I want to be in front of the real estate professionals that I'm actually doing business with right now. So Facebook and Instagram ads are an incredible way to do that. And so that's more advanced, and we can set up a separate call on that. But that's one of the things from follow-up, consistency. So I teach my loan officers right now in my branch that in 2019, we have to be highly active and we have to be highly visible. And those are two big, using social media, using the phone, using direct mail, like Jeremy said, evidence of success, whether it's a postcard or it's an email or it's a video, lunch and learns. There's so many tactics and strategies that we as loan officers can use to be highly visible and highly active. You just have to have it outlined. So one of the things that I will put down in the comments below is my 10-week follow-up. I have my assistant, Jessica, manage it. When I meet with a new real estate professional, there's a structured follow-up system. There's some gifting, there's some pop buys. I read a ton of books. I don't know if you can see them behind me. And so when we sit down and we meet, I find out what they're interested in, and I will gift them a book. I call it a gift of knowledge after we sit down and we talk. What's up, Dave Savage?
What's up, Dan Keller, man? Thanks for taking over the Mortgage Coach channel today, brother.
You got it, man. It's perfect timing. I just hit on bullet point number 3, which is follow-up. Jeremy crushed it like he always does. And so I think it was just an incredible call, man. So how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm going to just give you one little peek of my view.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that.
Utah, where you at?
I am at Snowbird, Utah, at the Simple Nexus conference. So
Love
rolling out our putting advice in mobile apps is kind of the thing that we're passionate about. So that's all good. So what were some of the biggest takeaways from your standpoint?
Biggest takeaways.
So far?
Yeah, man. So we just talked about the formula, man. There's a formula for everything in life. There's a formula for success. And when it comes to realtor relationships and converting them, we just shared the formula. The first part of that is initial contact, like creating a list, who you call, why you call. There's 3 reasons why you make a call. Jeremy kind of called an audible, which I love because we talked about it this morning at like 7:30, where it's something that, and this is where this community, Dave, is so valuable. You got guys like me, you got guys like Jeremy and Josh and all these cats that you bring on. We're active producers. So Jeremy he was coached on a concept a couple of weeks ago about mining dormant realtor relationships in your business. I think he said he had 27. And so he just very humbly reached out to every single one of them via phone. Hey, listen, and he shared the script. I haven't been in touch with you. It's 100% my fault. And so he shared the strategy around how to rekindle dormant realtor relationships, the 6 steps around that. Absolutely incredible. And then I just touched on, now that you've got a meeting, you've made the call, you've got a meeting with a realtor, how do you follow up? Because most realtors aren't just going to send you business after that meeting. At least the good ones aren't. So that I have a 10-week follow-up program. It's a spreadsheet. I'll put the link, or I'll put a link to it in the comments below, and we're off the call. But and then you jumped in, brother. That's where you're at.
Well, good. Well, first of all, I jumped in because this is such an awesome month. It's February 2019. Shift is happening. And to have you and Jeremy on this call was fabulous. I do want to remind everybody, and we're going to start marketing it this week. We're going to be doing Script-a-Palooza the last Tuesday of this month. And so I want to make sure we crush it for you guys. And Dan, if you aren't already on the list, I'll make sure you're invited as a leader, assuming you can make it. But I wanted everybody on this call that if there's a script that you want to have, shared by a master, by a loan officer that's absolutely crushing it, doing over 100 loans a year, Script-a-Palooza is coming. So what scripts are most important to you so we can continue to bring that to you? Dan, this might be a little off topic, or maybe not, but I am curious. I'm at this Simple Nexus, event, and everybody is sharing best practices on, how to use the mobile app, how to, how to do your own version of the Rocket Mortgage. And so I am seeing more and more of the best of the best. They've got a very intentional strategy on how they're using mobile apps at the point of sale, and then how they're using that app with real estate agents as a source of value. Do you mind just sharing real quick what you're doing, how you're doing it, both for the consumer, the home buyer, and for the realtor?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with education though, Dave, because I think Quicken and Rocket has spent a lot of money marketing that, hey, they have this app that is not necessarily exclusive, but exclusive in the industry. And so upfront, when I meet with every single one of my clients, if you prefer to use an app for your mortgage, from the application part to uploading documents, we have it. So I talk about that. We make it super streamlined, but really I use the Mortgage Coach, the Rate Watch app with every single, I literally turn my phone around and show them when I'm talking about rates, how many times today they've moved. So I use the one that we have at our mortgage company. And then I also use, I use your Rate Watch app every single day. And then Mortgage Coach TCA, if we're meeting in a coffee shop and I don't have my laptop, turn it right around and I show them their TCA and I teach it right from my phone.
And then how do you turn the fact that you've got this next level education first, borrower first process into a competitive advantage with the agent, so that the agent sees you as more than just a loan closer? How do you turn that into an advantage? And any scripting you have on that?
Yeah. So one of the scripts that I use is, and I use this every time I sit down with a client, and then I share this with the realtor. Listen, out of every 10 home buyers, 7 out of 10 are going to want the experience that we offer: high touch, high tech, speed, agility, very competitive rates, and a wow experience. Okay, 7 out of 10. 1 out of 10 doesn't know what they want, so it's up to us to educate them. And then 2 out of 10 they want the internet lender, cut rate, lowest deal in the marketplace, and that's that. So identifying that up front is really big. I share that with my clients, and I turn the table on them after I've presented value from our mortgage planning meeting. And I'll put the link in the comments below so you can see my slide deck that I take every single client through. After I've shared value, I touch on that, and then I also share that with the real estate professional. And depending on how that goes, we go into an in-depth conversation in regards to tech and access. But I'm telling you, Dave, I'm leveraging tech. I know I've heard you talk about this: high touch, high tech. We're super high touch. Jeremy just said the new Jeremy is super high touch, picking up the phone. So I'm still leveraging the heck out of high tech, high touch, but using tech.
So I love that. And I did a quote and a post, and some people took it out of context, where I was like, hey, we're living in an age where, it's an Uber world, but as mortgage professionals, we're still using taxi driver tactics and strategies.
Yep.
And my point isn't that every single borrower, you want to automate that relationship and you want to commoditize that. That is not my point. My point is that you need to be high touch. You need to amplify your humanity and your personal connection.
Yeah.
But here's the deal: you need to use technology in today's world to do that.
Yeah.
And so I love the way you give the borrower the choice, on when do you want to fill out an app, how do you want to do it on your desktop, do you want to do it on your mobile phone, do you want to talk?
Yeah.
By the way, do you give them an option of a concierge, filling out the app? What are the different options that you give people?
So I talk with every client up front, and then once they begin the app, my loan partner, Jason Hoskins, reaches out to them and he says, listen, Dan makes it a point of meeting face-to-face with every single one of his clients up front. This is the largest financial decision of your life. And so Dan would like to schedule an appointment with you. And if he gets any resistance there, we'll go to the consumer. We'll go to the borrower. But most of the time, I want him in the office. I want him here. And so that's how I work that out, Dave.
I like it. High touch, high tech, and that is what we are preaching.
Yep.
But you are a technology-enabled loan officer. You do know when to use your app. You are using your mobile phone to create videos, both from a marketing standpoint and from a consumer education standpoint. So I jumped in. I know you've got about 10 minutes left in today's call. I wanted to, one, come in and say hi. Two, get more engagement around Scriptapalooza that's coming. How do you think we should wrap up today's call, just knowing what's been shared so far?
Jeremy just jumped back in. He pinged me. Hey, buddy, are you there?
Hell yeah.
Jay
Yeah.
Force. Yes,
Yep.
baby.
What's up, y'all? So I want to add something here real quick. Anyone who's going to take that comment that Dave put out of context, so it's going to be an inside and not inside joke, call me, bro. Okay? So call me up, because I will tell you, I am a Neanderthal 90% of the time. Okay? But I also see homeless people with cell phones, with iPhones. Everyone's using them. So remember, the context is that is the native form of communication and information sharing in 2019. Okay, so yes, we want high touch. Yes, we can make the difference by face to face. But if you're not using tech to make people feel comfortable, the reality is people feel comfortable filling stuff out. I mean, I had an 85-year-old guy yesterday who's applying for a loan, who I always give the choice. Okay, and I'm a little dramatic in my choices. I'll share it with you right now. Hey, Dave, I can send you this customer questionnaire link to fill out with all of your basic information. It's super simple. Will take you 10 or 15 minutes. If you don't want to do that, it's not a problem. I can take all the information over the phone. We can set up a different time. You can either upload your documents directly into the portal that will set up securely for you, or we can come to your house. We'll make copies for you. You can bring them to my office. You can email them to me. I will even send a Raven or a courier if you'd rather me do that, whatever is easiest for you.
Yeah.
I will tell you guys that most people in my experience, and remember, I took 48 loan applications last month, want to fill it out. And the reason they want to fill out the initial questionnaire, AKA loan application, is because they are busy. They are commuting to work. They're not in front of a computer where they can just do stuff like right then and there on the spot when you're talking to them. So it's really important that we understand the context of using technology for ease, not for us, for them, and then we create the high touch, great service experience outside of that.
I love that you jump back in, Jeremy, and your scripting was awesome, because it's just super clear that hey, I'll do business with you however you want.
Yep.
You either you have it mastered, or you have people on your team that have every aspect mastered. And one thing for sure, you know how to deliver advice in a way that's, it's, if it's in person, it's in person. And if it's not in person, it's on their device, or whatever their device is. So Dan, I'm gonna let you
That's
close
right.
it out. I'm gonna stay on the call just in case I can add a little color on something. But you and Jeremy riffed, man. Having you two on a call is a huge gift to the community. So you two wrap it up, and I'm just gonna listen in on the last 7 minutes
No,
here.
I mean, here's the thing. One thing I've learned is when you're around gurus, when you're around the big dogs, you kind of keep your mouth shut. So we got Jeremy on the call. Jeremy, you have any great closing remarks in addition to that?
I mean, I kind of went full bore on the first 35 minutes. I mean, my closing remarks are just to reiterate everything I talked about, you guys, whether it's high tech or not, is about connecting.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be more present. So a big change that I've made, when I used to just want to try to rip as many calls as I could, like in my power hour, or if I have 2 or 3 hours blocked to make calls and follow up and updates, I would always be so focused on getting through the call so I could call the next one from a numerical standpoint that I was losing connection.
Yep.
So now I take my time and I do not rush my calls. Okay. Now, there's going to be someone in the audience right now that's like, yeah, bro, easy for you to say. Like, I talk to people on the phone for like 30 minutes. There's a difference between rushing a call and not rushing a call, and just being chit-chatty and talking about nothing. I'm not a chit-chat guy. I mean, Dan and Dave can both attest to that, okay? You have to teach yourself to not be chit-chatty. But you can not be chit-chatty, and you can still have an impactful call. So that sounds like you listening more, you asking more questions, and you being interested in the other person on the other line. It's that simple. And then when you do have to move on, it's very easy to close with anything like this. Hey, Dan, that's awesome, man. Here's the question I wrote down that you had. I'm going to go get that information and follow up with you. That ends the call right there. Hey, Dan, dude, it's great getting caught up with you. Having a happy hour in 3 weeks. Here's where it's at. I'd love for you to come. I'll send you an email with the info. That ends the call. You can still end the call and not be abrupt and not rush it.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I'd like to close with on that.
Yeah. Well, I love you, Jeremy. I love everything you teach. I love this new Jeremy too, because I think there's, like I said earlier, there's a big misunderstanding right now with top producers like you that we just sit here and we bang through phone calls, that it's just, hey, I got to make my Monday 40 realtor calls and I'm just going to bang through them. Yesterday, I almost spent 5 hours making calls. Okay. So I didn't just burn through them. Every Monday I book out almost 4 to 5 hours. That's my call day. And I want to have deeper conversations. And so I love that you touched on that. The new Jeremy, I thought this call was super, super valuable. I used it as a coaching call, brother. So I appreciate you. I know you got to run into your 9 o'clock meeting. So thank you, Jeremy. Dave Savage, thank you for everything that you do to the community. I know a question just popped up. Hold on real quick. Jenny Van just asked if an agent says yes, and you follow up for an appointment and they don't get back to you, what should the process be and how many times do you stalk them? So if an agent says yes to an appointment and you're following up to book it and they don't get back to you. So if an agent says yes, it's just simple. I'm going to call them back until I get that appointment. I'm not going to be annoying about it, but hey, Jenny, this is Dan calling you. Hey, you mentioned that we were going to get together for coffee. I'm calling to cash in that coffee meeting. And I just politely follow up. If I probably make 3 or 4 phone calls and it's going to voicemail and I'm not relevant, I'm doing a pop by. I mean, guys, it's not rocket science. There's a formula for building relationships. Most loan officers stop at the second, no call back. Guys like me, I'm sure guys like Jeremy, we keep going. So I had to do an exercise last week. Every phone call that I get from a realtor is worth $2,600. Okay, so we went through all the leads that I got last year from real estate agents, how many of them closed, average loan commission, $2,600. So when I see that name and Jenny says I'm down to meet with you, Dan, $2,600. This meeting is going to be $2,600 and scalable. So it's up to you to take it to the next level. Don't stop at that. Find a way.
So Dan, two things. So one, I also, Jenny, hear all the time, add a text video. Mm-hmm. Most phones now make it super easy to just go to text, hit video, leave a message. If they use Facebook a lot, leave a Facebook audio or video, but multi-channel, hit that realtor. Do not give up. And then Dan, I thought that was a huge takeaway in terms of how you have come up with a dollar amount that a realtor meeting is worth. Yep. Everybody on this call, I mean, that's the takeaway of at least the time I've been on it. Figure out what it's worth.
Yep.
And I can assure you, even if you're not doing a lot of business, it's worth more than $1,000.
Yeah.
It's worth thousands of dollars. So you really can just track your success by the number of meetings that you have, quality conversations and meetings with agents. Yeah. So one last thought, at least on my side, then you wrap it up, Dan.
Yep.
This Friday, we're having a mastermind at 9 o'clock Pacific. Because I'm hot off of the Simple Nexus integration, I'm going to be spending a day with those guys. I want to mastermind. One of the topics is going to be best practices around how to use, whatever your Rocket mortgage is, whatever lender you have, whatever company solution you have, scripting strategy to use it with the borrower, and scripting and strategy to use it with the realtor. So I'm going to, try to get some loan officers that I know have some best practices that close over 100 loans a year on that call. But this Friday, 9 o'clock, we're going to mastermind around that. Dan, I'll let you close it out, brother.
Yep. So what I want you guys to do, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I will speak on Jeremy's behalf here. Hit us up on Facebook, friend us up, hit us up, private message, DM us if you have any questions on, the 3 strategies we talked about today. I thought this was a super valuable call. I learned a ton. Dave, super grateful for you in this community. I've said this before. This is the best community in the mortgage industry to be a part of that isn't charging you money to be a coach to keep you accountable. I mean, there's so much value here. So appreciate you, Dave. Thank you. And
thank you, brother.
Yeah, we'll see you on Friday.
And if you're watching the recording of this, give it a like,
Yep.
share it with your mortgage friends, and we'll see you on Friday. Take care, y'all.